issuing an ultimatum to Russia and Syria. Recep Tayyip Erdogan said Turkey would launch its own military operation in Idlib if the Syrian regime didn't stop its offensive on the province by the end of the month.
Negotiations will continue, but so far our demands have not been met. These are the final days for the Syrian regime to stop its offensive in Idlib. This is our final warning.
Erdogan's outburst came after talks between Moscow and Ankara ended Wednesday without making any headway. Turkey has been pushing for a truce in Idlib and for a return to the positions laid out in the 2018 Sochi agreement, which called for a demilitarized buffer zone in northern Syria. Russia, meanwhile, continues to back Assad, who's vowed to press ahead with his offensive to retake Idlib. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov said Syrian troops were upholding their side of the Sochi agreement and were simply responding to provocations by Turkish-backed rebels.
There have been attacks against the Syrian army, against civilians, against a Russian airbase. Naturally, the Syrian armed forces have reacted to these unacceptable provocations, and we support this.
In the past week, regime forces have reconquered large swathes of Idlib and secured the strategic M5 highway. Turkey fears the offensive, which has already forced some 900,000 people to flee their homes, will lead to a new influx of refugees, adding to the 3.7 million already living in the country. But as tensions continue to rise, Moscow appears eager to avoid direct confrontation with Ankara, with the Kremlin saying Wednesday that a Turkish offensive on Idlib would represent a worst-case scenario.